There are some pretty cool cars out today here in Lakewood Ranch. Nobody is around the Speciale. One thing I love about the Speciale is this part right here. That thing right there. Is it gonna start? There we go. Huh? Oh no. I was always a really huge fan of the original Gallardo when it first came out in 2004, way back in the day now, I guess. And I really like how they transitioned it into the Huracan design. The thing with Lambos is, and pretty much any mid-engine car, you have the engine at the back here, which allows for the designers to create this super sleek and almost arrow shape with the designs. And we have, if you look at a Lambo from a side view, except for the Urus, of course, that's a big SUV. If you look at this from a side view, you have the A-pillar almost coming down on top of the front wheel, and that's unique for mid-engine cars, and I think it looks really cool. Now, looking at the rear view, it looks pretty solid as well. There is just this issue that I have with it, and that is this area right here, which is part of the bumper. I think this surface, they do have some creases in it, which makes it a little bit more interesting, but still, I think they could have done something else with it just to add some movement or something, just break it up somehow. But you know, the good thing is that they actually did that with the brand new Huracan Evo. This takes the engine from the Performante, of course, and the styling is just on a whole new level from the original Huracan. The thing I love about this the most, it's a small little detail, but it makes such a huge difference for the design and the kind of the aggressiveness of this car, is this ducktail here. Not sure why it has such a huge impact. I just love how it looks, and I love the subtle design of it, that they could overdo it and do something crazy or even put a wing on here. But I like that they just kept it very subtle and kind of integrated in the design. I also love the fact that they moved up the exhaust to be in the middle here. And the reason for that, the reason why I like that, is because the issue I had with the previous design is completely gone here. So they did break up the whole big body part there with all of these shapes here, and also different materials and colors to break it up even more. I also like this big diffuser at the bottom here. I like that manufacturers still make them visible and not only have them underneath the car. Here you can actually enjoy the design of it, and you can see it clearly when you look at this car from the rear. Now, moving on, the interesting thing is, what I'm thinking of is, how are they going to replace the Huracan and what kind of design language are they going to use? We have the Terzo Millennio as an example, the electric concept car that we can get some cues from, and I think that's what we're gonna take most inspiration from today when we're gonna play around with the design of the Huracan and kind of think about what type of direction Lambo is going to go with its replacement. Let's start to redesign this Huracan with using some of the design language that's already in the car. So I like to kind of take different elements of the design, of the existing design, and put those elements into use somewhere else and experiment with that. So that's what I'm doing right here. I took the front splitter of this car and wanted to see if we can use it as a headlight, because as you know, the Centenario, the what's it called, Terzo Millennio, they both have this kind of design language in the front, especially when it comes to the headlights. They have this 3-spoke design, and that's what I'm doing right here as well. So I kind of saw by putting the splitter up there, I kind of saw something that it might work And I also want to add some air intakes to the design. This is still early on. You're gonna see the end result later on. That it's we're still in the experimental phase. We're just trying to find some shapes that work together, and this 3-spoke design here is definitely a shape that I wanted to keep and work on. And I also wanted to create this large intake or hole in the front, so the headlight actually sits inside of this hole. And here you can see I'm moving this front splitter to follow the same line as the top spoke of the headlight. So if you were to draw a continuous line from this spoke that splitter that I'm sketching right now up to the headlight, you can see that it follows the same shape. And I'm gonna continue that shape later on into the side of the fender as well. We also want to add some thickness to all of the edges that we have. No edge is a millimeter thick. Every edge and surface has a thickness to it. And we have to add that. We have to visualize that somehow. And we do that by adding simple brush strokes and also adding highlights to the edges that are facing the light source. And we add highlights by adding just picking white, the color white, and then go around all the edges that are facing towards the light source. And since this is I want it to look kind of real, so I have to have some sort of assembly inside of this hole. There has to be something that's holding up these LED bars. The LED bars has to be mounted on something. And by the way, this little dot that I did there, I regretted doing that, so I just deleted it. It was supposed to be kind of like a high beam light or something like that. But we want to add as much detail as possible and also add the assembly, which is behind the LED lights. At least hint that there is something behind there. I did that by using some light gray. I did have some problems getting the symmetry right on this sketch, because I tried to figure out what this would look like from this angle when we look at it on the far side of the car. When you're having problems, if you're doing this yourself, sketches like this, a good thing to do is to flip the sketch, and that will usually help you see things you wouldn't see otherwise if you keep the same perspective on your sketch throughout the sketch. So flip it around if you have some issues with it, and that will usually solve any problems that you might have with perspective and symmetry. Same thing here, I'm adding some details into some plastic or carbon fiber details. It could be some air ducts or something like that, just to give it some more, just make these holes a bit more interesting and have something going on inside of that. Always working with the symmetry. It's not always easy, but as long as you get the point across, it doesn't have to be perfect, because this is, after all, a sketch, but just get it as good as you can and work with that. So, funny story, when I was studying Masters in Car Design in Italy, we actually had the opportunity to go to the design studio of Lamborghini, and it was right about when they were about to launch the Aventador. So we went into this room, and they have kind of like a curtain from the room we were sitting in to the next room. And some of us was wondering what's in the room over there. Why did you just have a curtain there? And obviously they can't reveal the Aventador before it's been launched. So we were super excited we knew there was something in there that we weren't supposed to see. And all of a sudden they just fire up the V12 and we can hear it sitting there. But it's so frustrating to not be able to go and actually see the car, because yeah, it was revealed, I can't remember how long later, but it was basically a finished product. It's just waiting to ship it off to Geneva for the show. And we were there as well to see the reveal, but that was a fun experience to just be in the design studio and have the Aventador next door without being able to actually see it. Throughout the master year, we did projects with the Lamborghini and Audi. So I did I think it was a front engine Lamborghini concept. Not one of my best designs ever made, but it was a lot of fun to work with. professional designers from both Audi and Lamborghini during that year. And the thing that if you're ever studying mastering car design, be prepared to sketch every day. That's pretty much what we did for 365 days straight. Just 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 sketches a day at least. And you're definitely going to get better at sketching if you ever plan to jump into a car design class or university. So right now, these are some final touches that I'm adding to the design. I thought I was done here, but as you can see, I will continue to... Ooh, I'm losing my voice here. I'm gonna continue to fix some things on this design. Kind of add some more details and also fix the front splitter. I think it needs some more refinement to it. I'm gonna add, for example, a colored, just another angle to it, basically. And also fix this front fender to make it look like it goes into the light and all through the rear splitter there in one single line. I think it looks really cool. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna stop talking right here. There's not a lot more to say about this. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike it, hit the dislike button. If you're new to the channel, feel free to browse the channel. I have a lot more videos like this, and also on sketching tutorials and more car stuff, car sketching stuff, I would say. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. I will see you in the next video. Take it easy, guys.